Sometimes a journey isn't really about the destination, is it? It's about the sharp contrasts you find along the way. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're taking a trip through a landscape that's just full of these powerful contradictions. I'm talking ancient rock, all the way to modern code. Okay, so take a look at this. At first glance, yeah, you see an animal. But I want you to look closer. That gaze, right? It's so direct, so intelligent. It feels like something more is going on there. And that's the question we're going to keep coming back to on this journey. What do you really see when you stop and look closer? All right, so our journey begins. We're in a land of rocks. And right away, you can tell it's a place where stunning beauty and, well, hidden hazards exist side by side. Just look at the sheer scale of this place. It's immense. You can almost feel the emptiness, that raw ancient geology. These rolling hills just seem to stretch on forever. It's the kind of place that really makes you feel incredibly small. But then, just as you're taking in all that serene beauty, it's shattered. Because, tucked away in a valley, you find this, the carcass of a wrecked vehicle. It's such a stark reminder that, hey, this isn't just a scenic drive. This land has a really dangerous, unforgiving side to it. Okay, let's move on, because the next part of our journey, this is really the dramatic centerpiece. It's this completely unexpected roadside encounter that's going to shift our focus from the land itself to its, well, most powerful inhabitants. So, I want you to imagine this. You're driving down this totally empty road, and suddenly a figure appears. It's a large baboon, and he is approaching with just pure confidence. He's not running away. No, he's coming right for you, and there is a definite purpose in his stride. And then, you get this moment. He stops right at the hood of the car and just looks. He stares directly at you. This is nothing like watching an animal in a zoo, right? This is a direct, intelligent, and frankly, a pretty intimidating connection. It really feels like you're the one being observed, maybe even judged. But remember that question I asked? Look closer. The angle shifts just a little bit, and there it is. You see it? A tiny baby baboon clinging to its mother's back. So this isn't just some intimidating individual. This is a protective parent. And just like that, the entire narrative completely changes. And then as we pull the perspective back, you realize this isn't a lone animal at all. A whole troop is scattered all over the rocky hillside, and they're all watching this interaction unfold. You haven't just met an animal. You've stumbled right into the territory of a complex, watchful community. All right, so leaving the wildlife behind for a bit, our journey continues. And that theme of contrast, it shifts now from the natural world to the human-shaped one. And this is where we see a place where old and new collide in some really fascinating ways. And wow, that collision is immediate. I mean, look at this. On one side, you've got a site that's as old as time itself, a herd of camels. And on the other, a modern kind of whimsical roundabout sculpture of a giant clock. These are two completely different realities, just existing in the very same landscape. And the inhabitants are a mix too. It's not just the baboons. You've got wild donkeys navigating the rocky paths. You see more camels just peacefully grazing. And then there are these herds of goats that basically seem to own the roadside. They're all locals here. They're all part of the living fabric of this place. And the contrasts just keep coming. Look at this. Here, you have a modern emblem, a symbol of identity, laid out in stone on the face of a mountain that has stood there for millennia. I mean, that is a bold statement. It's humanity literally leaving its mark on timeless ancient rock. But, modern marks like that, they can't erase what came before. So now, our journey is going to take a little turn into the past. We're going to explore the deep layers of history that are physically, right before our eyes, crumbling back into the dust. So here we are at an abandoned village. Just look at the texture of these walls. They're made of the very earth they're standing on. You can literally see how time and wind and rain are slowly, gently pulling these structures back into the landscape they came from. And when you look at these empty doorways and windows, you can't help but feel the presence of the past, can you? These weren't just buildings, they were homes. You can almost imagine that each dark opening holds the echo of a family, of lives that were lived within these very walls. It's just a profoundly quiet and really evocative scene. There's that quote, "The past isn't dead, it's not even past. And that just says it all. Here, the past isn't something you're just reading about in a book. It's tangible. You can feel it in the crumbling bricks, see it in the ancient trails. It's in the very dust in the air. It's a constant, living presence. Okay, so just when you think you're starting to get the rhythm of this place, that cycle of old and new, nature and humanity, the journey delivers one final, absolutely stunning surprise. And this is a contrast so sharp, it'll almost give you whiplash. So, after everything we've seen, the vast landscapes, that intense wildlife encounter, the ancient ruins, the journey ends here, in what looks like a modern waiting room in front of a pop-up banner. And it's covered in Arabic script and QR codes. I mean, what a complete sensory and thematic shift. So, what are these QR codes even for? Well, they're basically digital doorways. One of them leads to an electronic library, and the other one goes to edition prices. So this isn't just some random tech thrown in. It's a tool that's actively being used to preserve and access and share ancient knowledge and traditions in a completely modern way. How cool is that? And that brings us to our final question. It's the one that I think perfectly summarizes this entire journey of contrasts. What happens when ancient trails worn smooth over centuries, lead you directly to a QR code? The answer? Well, it's not simple, is it? But it tells us everything about our modern, complicated, and utterly fascinating world.